So, gentlemen, what would you say are the differentiating factors of an SMC versus a GRC? You know, is it personality? Is it more personality driven? Eugene?
Party affiliation is still important. I think we can't take away from that in our electoral landscape. So parties like PAP and WP would naturally have that advantage over other parties. But I think in SMC, certainly the individual matters a lot because voters have to assess the candidate, based on his or her merits.
Would you agree, Balji?
I would just go one extra point. I generally agree, but I think there's one more point. To what extent the constituents in a single constituency want to see an opposition in Parliament? If I take a single seat and I take the GRC, I'm bringing down maybe a minister and 4 or 5 candidates. But in a single seat is just one person. So if I want to make that point, I can do it here.
The risk is lower.
The risk is lower.
Risk is lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are likely to be, and perhaps that was the calculus of the Workers' Party, right, in coming here, because if their focus is really on East Coast GRC,
Yep.
right? Now, but they know that even if people are a little uncomfortable about taking the risk with a large GRC, at least they may gamble a little bit with that smaller guy, Fengshan. That's the logic that people are putting forward. Would you subscribe to that?
I agree with that, but I think we cannot underestimate the personality.
Yeah.
So if you take a person like Cham, for example, Cham Si Tong, right? I think he's so well liked. What he has done there. Even after the upgrading, when they were put at the end of the queue.
Yes.
And actually the votes
Went up.
Went up. So what does it say about the voters? So I think that person, how he has worked there, he or she has worked there, how he has been able to connect with the residents, all these do matter.
So in this case, we have Cheryl Chan, who's been a grassroots activist in Fengshan area for 10 years, 38 years old. And then you have, from the Workers' Party, you have Dennis Tan, a lawyer, a shipping lawyer, and who's a relatively new face. Now, would he be disadvantaged in the fact that he's a new person to this place, 10 years newer than her? Would that be a disadvantage, you think? Given that he's new?
Yeah, I think so. But I wouldn't make too much of the disadvantage. Certainly, if you've been walking the ground for 10 years, you are familiar, with the residents. They will have a chance to have engaged with you. They know who you are. And of course, there's always the advantage of the incumbent. You have the networks and all. So Dennis is new, right? So he wasn't even on the previous East Coast GRC slate. So he's coming new, and of course, the WP didn't sort of get their potential candidates to walk in a specific constituency.
So specifically speaking, Eugene and Balji, logically, if Fengshan was going to fall, if that's it, if I'm Workers' Party and I say Fengshan is easy catch, wouldn't I put someone who's a more established, more known, in Fengshan than a newcomer if I was Workers' Party? Because Dennis is a newcomer. There are many others they could have put in Fengshan. If it's so clear that he's going to win it.
People like? What kind of people will you be?
Well, there's Gerald Giam, there are all these guys, who are more known, right? So why would they?
I would say that one is they want to use the same people who have contested in the same
East Coast
constituency.
GRC.
Wherever, whether it's
Okay.
East Coast. So I think that is also one reason why I think Lau Tia Kiang and company have not moved out. But of course, there's another reason too. I think it could also be a PAP strategy to force them to stay in alternate, because of the town council issue.
Yes.
So I think to even you take Dennis Tan, he has been working with the party for 4 years now, since 2011. He was also involved in WP constituency work.
Yes.
And he has also been in both Kaki Bukit and Paya Lebar in the Aljunied GRC. So I think we also have to see that Singapore is a small place, and then Aljunied is even a smaller place. So the connection is
So
not easily
you don't think that the fact that Cheryl Chan has had 10 years of experience on the ground, meeting the people, meeting the residents, would be an advantage, a significant advantage?
No,
because some people feel it is.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an advantage,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's a significant advantage.
Yeah.
And I come back to my same point again, that what is the desire of the Fengshan
People.
voters to want somebody else in Parliament outside PAP? I think that's one. Finally, one other point is,
Sorry, let's go to that point. How strong do you think that desire is? What's your sense?
I get the sense it's very strong. I get the sense it's very strong.
So there was a certain amount of displeasure.
Because of what they have seen in 2011.
Yeah.
They have seen that despite all that the PAP has put across, I think you cannot deny the fact that what happened since 2011 is because of the result of that election, the election in that year.
Eugene?
I wonder whether the Workers' Party, has a more nuanced reading of the situation. That they put a new candidate. It could point to two things, right? One is they're confident that a new face would still get the job done, and so let's put the likes of Gerald Giam and Yi Jianzhong in the constituencies where the stakes are bigger. Or it could suggest that the Workers' Party may not take it that Fengshan is a done deal, notwithstanding the popular view that Fengshan is low-hanging fruit. So it'd be interesting to see how it pans out, right? Because you have two first-time candidates contesting an SMC, and in both cases, if either one wins, you'd be setting history in many respects. So if Cheryl Chan wins, for example, she'll be the first-time candidate winning an SMC since '88. And for Dennis, I think it'd be even more significant because I don't recall a first-time opposition candidate
In an SMC.
in the SMC winning, because even Mr. Chiam and Mr. Lau, didn't do it in the first try, and likewise Mr. JB Jerat.
And what is just if let's look at it from try and look at it from a Workers' Party's point of view, right? What is the important victory that I want, right? I should not the tide that happened in 2011 with the GRC. I want it to continue with, if nothing else, at least one GRC. I don't want to stop there, right?
Yeah.
So if that is the
The
calculation,
focus is more on the GRC.
if that is a calculation, then why shouldn't I go for use my key people in a GRC where I think I have a chance to win?
Yeah. Although I feel that even the East Coast GRC team for the Workers' Party is not significantly stronger than, say, their team in Marine Parade. So it doesn't seem like they have decided to go for that. Let's load our best candidates in the GRC teams in East Coast.
Although people believe, the people I speak to, and I myself feel that the East Coast GRC team is clearly the B team and not the C team. It is the B team, and I think they are stars.
But do you think that they are clearly stronger than the Marine Parade team?
They are stronger. I've been for their rallies, very strong, very articulate, and so on. For example, Leon Pereira spoke in Mandarin and Malay and English fluently. I think those things are very, very important in that constituency. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of Malay-speaking people in Bedok area. So I think it's very strategic that they are placed there. But I'd like to end this discussion with a quick question. What's your sense? Do you think the pressure will be strong enough on the PAP in Fengshan?
Definitely, I think the pressure is strong, very strong, and it is
on a scale of 1 to 10. Just tell me the pressure point, the pain factor.
The pain factor
for the incumbent.
For the incumbent, 7.5.
Okay, you?
I think it'll be close, right? I think.
So what's the pain factor?
Pain factor for the PAP?
PAP?
I think it's 8 to 9.
Okay.
You know, I think the PAP would want to ensure that they don't lose Fengshan. You know, never mind that it's been carved out. But I think the HPTC issue, right, you know, might give voters in Fengshan some reason to pause, you know, as to how they want to vote. And I think when voters look at what's been happening in East Coast GRC, for which Fengshan was a part of over the last 4 years, you know, there have been significant estate improvement and upgrading works. You know, they might ask themselves whether they want to exclude themselves from all that benefit. You know,
Well,
so
it all boils down to how they feel at this point in time.
certainly,
Right.
right.
All right.
And,
Thank
and
you.
I think just one other thing, from now to polling day, anything can happen.
You bet. Right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.